Hello everyone, this is Sue Simmons. Today I'm going to tell you why I think we are treating autism ass backwards and what we need to do differently. So if you want to hear what I have to say, and I hope you do, stick around for the next few minutes. All right? So hey everyone, welcome to episode number 14 of To the Spectrum and Beyond. Before I jump in, if you have not already downloaded our eGuide to understanding autism and difficult behavior, then I want you to do so right now. In the comments down below, you can just type in guide and you will get it through this broadcast. If you're looking at the broadcast, or excuse me, watching the broadcast afterwards, you can still type in guide underneath in the comment. Marnie Bushman, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so glad to have you here. It's always so nice to have people here live. So, all right. So today's episode is called What's Wrong with This Picture? So if you were with me last week, this is going to be a bit of a continuation. So last week, we talked about a video called the Still Face Experiment. And in the video, we saw an interaction between her mom and child, right? And so it was evidence of this guiding relationship between, yes, and please share, the guiding relationship between a mom and her child who was like a whole 1 year old. Unbelievable. It's a really dramatic video. I would, Karen's going to put a link down below. I would encourage you to watch it. So this video shows clear evidence of this guiding relationship in action, and this develops at a super young age. So through this guiding relationship, parents and child learn to do this sort of social dance at such a young age. So this little person is a really skilled communicator, not with words, but with nonverbal communication. So she is a master of nonverbal communication at a super young age. This little person wants to share her experiences with her mom. The child can borrow the parent's perspective. So if there's uncertainty in the environment, she looks to mom to get information about how to move forward. And this child builds resilience. It's crazy how much resilience this little person has at the age of 1. In the video, the mom disengages and the child really gets uncomfortable, starts squealing and screaming, and then comes back. When the mom comes back, she comes back right away, just completely goes back on board with the mom as though nothing had even happened. So here's the important piece to remember from that, is that children with ASD are not able to participate in this guiding relationship. And why is this? It's because children with ASD do not develop what we call a growth-seeking mindset. So children with ASD are more focused on what we call maintaining stability, because they have not established this growth-seeking mindset. They're not out there looking for new challenges the way typical children are. Instead, they are inward. We see repetitive behavior. We see acting out. We see a need for control. We see no resilience. We see no social interaction. We see a child interacting with the toys, spinning a wheel, doing something repetitive. We see no resilience and resistance in doing anything with the parent, right? Which is really, really sad and very, very painful, as we all know. So here's why I think that we are looking at and treating autism ass backwards, because our system is looking at and treating autism from a behavioral perspective. So we are not looking at the child as a little human being. We are really looking at that child as a set of problems. So we are assuming that the best that we can do for them is give them skills and manage their behavior so that they can sort of be more normalized, rather than trying to capitalize on the potential that we have. So we are completely underestimating their potential. we need to stop looking at them as a set of problems, looking at them from all different angles as there's some, species from Mars. These are little human beings that have all the feelings, or most of the feelings, that we do as other human beings, right? They're no different. They're still kids, right? They are still kids. Now, I just want to be clear about one thing. I'm not saying behavior therapy is bad. I'm not saying that different types of therapy are not necessary, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We need to step back and look at the whole child, okay? Autism is not a one-size-fits-all challenge. So I have literally talked to hundreds of moms now through my program and through my research for the Better Behavior Bootcamp who are still struggling with behavior, even though their child was in behavior therapy. Interesting, huh? So my work is all based on a developmental approach, which means that we know that ASD is a neurodevelopmental disorder, which few parents are even told. And so this derails the child's development. And this is because they're not able to benefit from this guiding relationship, and hence all the behaviors that we see. So we want to understand where the child's development went off the rails and fill in these developmental gaps, which is absolutely doable. So in my work, parents are central. In fact, in my work can't be done if there are no parents involved. So this is the thing that I find so strange. So we are assuming, or I should say, we are ignoring the very relationship that is central to human development. So in an ASD child's treatment, now granted there are some programs that are trying to involve parents, but in my work the parents are critical. So we are assuming somehow that these children are not able to capitalize on this guiding relationship, which is absolutely wrong. So we're not assuming that for some reason that they cannot benefit from this guiding relationship. And this just seems weird to me, where we're not looking at them through the lens of they need this relationship. So like, after therapy is over, who's left? Who's left to manage? Think about that for a second. You are. After your child's therapy is done, you are left for the rest of that child's life. You are responsible for that child for the rest of him or her life. So if you're a parent and you are assuming that having behavior therapy is going to solve your problems, I can guarantee you it may help things, but it is not going to solve your problems, because you have not been able to, number one, learn how to manage difficult behavior, okay, with support, and you have not been able to benefit from that guiding relationship. So when you do try to reestablish this guiding relationship, which is what I do in my longer one-on-one program with clients called Relationship Development Intervention, when we reestablish this guiding relationship, not only does it benefit the child and the parent, but it benefits the entire family unit. And on the flip side, when we just focus on the child and do therapy, it does not have an impact on the family as a whole. So the family struggles chronically, and there are often like big issues. We hear all kinds of horror stories about children needing to be taken from the home. It's just a travesty. And so if we can step back and look at autism differently as a developmental challenge, then we can reestablish that guiding relationship. But at the very least, parents need to learn how to manage difficult behavior. And this is what I do in my Better Behavior Bootcamp. In fact, I developed this program specifically out of the research that I did when I spoke to hundreds of moms and interviewed 40 moms extensively to find out what their biggest challenge was. It was anxiety about the future and challenges with behavior. Hey everyone, how are we doing over there? Is everyone following me? If you can just give me a little yes. If you have any questions, I am here. Can I see a yes? So, learning to manage difficult behavior is not something that you can do without support, because the skills that I teach parents are very counterintuitive. Thanks, Karen. So you need support and you need guidance. And this is exactly what I do in my Better Behavior Bootcamp. Now, I'm going to do something a little different today. Thank you. And I'm going to try to hold up this picture. When I said, what's wrong with this picture, I meant it. So I'm going to hold up this picture and I'm going to see. Hi, Amy. Thank you for being here. Welcome. I'm so glad you came. I'm going to hold this up. And yeah, okay. So I did a little practicing before. Okay, I hope you can see this. I'm going to try and hold it still. So if you see in this diagram, we've got the child. We've got all kinds of arrows pointing to the child. You know, behavior therapy, OT, speech therapy, social skills groups. This poor child is being, you know, driven around by the poor mom who becomes a chauffeur. And so what's happening to mom? I hope I'm holding this relatively still. Mom feels like a chauffeur. Mom's trying to do everything she's been told, right, to get her child to all these appointments. She feels incompetent. Give me a yes if anyone agrees with what I'm saying. She feels incompetent. She is totally stressed out because she's spending way too much time driving her child around, and the other sibling may very well be feeling like, hey, I'm over here, you know, where do I factor in? So this model is really not family friendly at all. So mom feels alone. Mom feels very guilty and bad about herself because she feels like it's her fault that she can't manage her child's behavior, even if her child has had behavior therapy. Sorry about the wobblies here, guys, I'm trying. And so mom is not being empowered in any way. Mom is not being educated about what's really going on for her child. And then there's dad, right? We don't know, you know, what's going on with dad, but you can be sure that there is stress between the mom and the dad. Okay, and let's think about the child again. Now, this child has appointment after appointment after appointment, and yet he's in school and we expect him to learn. Now, who can go to school when you're that stressed out and learn? I challenge you. You know what happens when we're that stressed out? Our brains go offline. Our thinking brains literally go offline because we can't think. Our frontal lobe is completely shut down. Our thinking brain is nowhere to be found. And so then we have behavioral problems at school, right? So here's what I'm suggesting. There is a lot of research out there to support parent training, and more all the time. The way we're looking at autism is ass backwards. And you know, I've talked to the parents and they're the ones telling me that this is not working. So what do we need to do instead? We need to look at things from a developmental perspective. We need to explain the behavior through the lens of this child has not developed social, emotional, or cognitively the way he or she would have through the relationship with the parents. And yet we're expecting the child to show up as a typical child would, right? And no wonder we see more and more and more behavior, because this child is not from Mars. This is a little person who is just being not traumatized. That sounds a little, I'm not trying to suggest that it's intentional or anything, but there's a lot of stress in this child's life and he or she simply can't manage. Okay, I'm asking you, if you found this interesting, to please like and share. Guaranteed you know someone with a child on the spectrum who would benefit from watching this and learning this really essential and important information. So like and share, like and share, like and share. People watching after the fact, like and share. Let's get this important information out there. Thank you so much for being here. Marnie, thank you for being here. I'm really glad to see new people joining us. And Amy, thanks for being here. So, okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care and stay well. Bye-bye.